Let's talk about super tax, because this is certainly getting a lot of headlines at the moment. Sounds like the government's going ahead with it, won't make any changes to it. Jim Chalmers describes it as modest. You're saying it's a disaster. Why?
Well, our belief as a coalition, Emma, is that Australia should have lower tax, simpler tax and fairer tax. And what Labor's putting on the table with its superannuation tax breaches all of those things. The Treasurer confirmed yesterday that the Prime Minister will get favourable treatment. That just doesn't stack up in anyone's books. Ultimately, we're talking about over 8 million Australians who will be caught by this tax. Yet the Prime Minister, he won't be himself responsible for having to pay this annual tax out. I don't think it's fair at all. The idea of unrealised capital gains, this basically means that you can make a theoretical profit. The money doesn't hit your bank account, but you still got to go to the ATO and pay them your tax at the end of the year, even though you actually haven't seen that profit. They're not indexing this thing, which means it's actually younger Australians, everyday Aussies, who are going to be caught in the net over time. I mean, every aspect of this is looking awful, and it certainly does not align with our values as a Liberal Party or indeed a Liberal National Coalition.
Well, Treasurer Jim Chalmers is saying that only a really small percentage of people who have super are going to be caught out by this. And they have a lot of super in their account, so why shouldn't they pay a bit more tax?
Well, the Treasurer is not being upfront about that, Emma. And the reason he's not is he's wanting to pretend he's sort of, some modern day Robin Hood. He's taking from the fat cats with multi-million-dollar portfolios to fund the good deeds of government. And that's not right, because they're not indexing it, which means a young person today who earns average salary, pays the super contributions over time, they all get paid into the super account, they're going to hit that threshold, which is why you've got organisations like Wilson Asset Management saying that over 8 million Australians will end up paying this over the next few decades. If you look at it, the Australian workforce today, by the way, is around 14 million. So for the Treasurer to say it only sort of takes a few Australians on with this, no, it's not. That's not the truth at all. If it were true, he would have indexed this, but he hasn't indexed it because he wants it to grow. He wants more Australians to be taxed. We are against Australians having to cop higher taxes.
The Treasurer Jim Chalmers on 7:30 last night said he wasn't convinced that the opposition was fair dinkum when it comes to making super tax concessions a bit fairer and to talking to them about this. How do you respond to that?
Well, I've already outlined our concerns, and the Treasurer is saying he's proceeding anyway, and he's running to the warm embrace of the Greens in the hope of just jacking up taxes. So we're clear with our principles, lower taxes, simpler taxes, fairer taxes, and so that's where we stand on it. And clearly what the Treasurer is saying, he's not interested in lower taxes, simpler or fairer ones, and that's for him to make that decision. If he wants to hurt Australians with higher taxes at this stage, well, that's on him.
The Liberals have now lost the Sydney seat of Bradfield for the first time in 75 years. It's gone to an independent. Does that hurt?
Yes, it does hurt, and I'm sad to see those results. Of course, the party at the level of New South Wales, the division, will be reviewing those results, as will Giselle, who is the candidate there, who is not only a great candidate, but boy, will she make a fantastic MP in the Australian Parliament. So let's wait to see how that review goes. But I was sad, and it does hurt to see that. I myself have gone through a similar thing, by the way. I lost to Clive Palmer. A very close count, the most marginal seat in the country. It was my seat for some time. There were 2 counts. So I know what Giselle's going through. And so let's see how their review goes.
The Liberals certainly aren't having a good run at the moment, either federally or at a state level. We know in Tasmania, a no confidence motion looks set to be passed against the Premier there. Why are the wheels falling off for the Liberals?
Well, look, I won't go into the details of individual divisions where I myself am not part of the division. I'm a Queenslander, and certainly I think the state government in Queensland, the Liberal National Government, is doing a fantastic job. So I won't go into the details of other divisions of which I'm not a part. But there's no doubt at the federal level, and Susan Lee has been clear about this too, we were defeated at the election on May the 3rd, and we need to learn lessons from that. We need to be humble enough to get out there to listen to people so that we can meet Australians where they are. And that's precisely what we have been doing the last few weeks, and there's a lot to do as we rebuild. But not dissimilar to our conversation, Emma, about tax. When we rebuild, we're going to be values-based. We're going to be focused on what we believe in. And for us, we believe in freedom, we believe in equality, we believe in a fair go. We believe that with effort comes reward, with rights come commensurate responsibilities. We fight for the individual, the family. We fight for communities, enterprise, and entrepreneurship. So we've got the foundation blocks of our rebuild for the federal Liberal Party, and we'll continue to rebuild. Over time, you'll start seeing policies with a clear line of sight to those values. That's the task we have ahead.
Ted O'Brien, you mentioned equality there. Reports in some papers today are that former Federal Liberal Party President Alan Stockdale told a meeting of female members in New South Wales that women were assertive, and the reports say that he suggested male members may need to be protected. How do you react to that?
I too read that report today. I don't know much more about it other than reading one article. But what I can say, Emma, to any of your listeners, any of the assertive women out there, the Liberal Party is your party. We need more women engaging with our party, running for our party. I'm proud to have Susan Lee as our leader. I'm proud that I'm in a leadership team also with Michaela Cash and Anne Ruston. And so for the women of Australia, the Liberal Party is your party. That's my message.